Sometimes the most ordinary places turn into battlegrounds. A parking lot, a place for cars, silence, and routine became the stage for one of the most unforgettable nights of my life. A night where anger, secrets, and betrayal all collided under the buzzing streetlights. And trust me, once you hear what happened, you'll never look at a parking lot the same way again. My name is Harper Lane. I'm 26 years old and I live in Dallas, Texas. It was a Friday evening, and like every week after work, I stopped by a grocery store to pick up a few things. The sky was painted in soft shades of orange, the sun just about to disappear, and the parking lot outside the store was buzzing with cars pulling in and out. I had no idea that in just a few minutes, this ordinary lot would turn into pure chaos. I walked out of the store with my shopping bags, humming softly to myself when I heard raised voices. At first, I thought it was just people arguing about a parking spot, the usual drama. But this was different. The voices weren't just angry, they were shaking with rage, and something about the tone made my chest tighten. Two men stood near a black SUV parked diagonally across two spaces. One was tall, broad, maybe in his early 30s, his hands clenched into fists, his face red. The other was leaner, maybe a few years older, standing stiff with defiance, refusing to back down. And between them, a young woman with tears streaking down her face, holding out her hands as if trying to stop a storm. I froze. My instincts told me to stay out of it, but my curiosity kept me watching. The tall man shouted first, "You think you can show up here after everything you did?" His voice echoed off the cars, drawing the attention of other shoppers leaving the store. The leaner man shot back, his voice sharp. "I don't owe you anything, Mason. You don't own her life." That's when it hit me. This wasn't about parking. This was personal. This was about the woman standing between them. Her voice trembled. "Please stop. Not here. Not like this." But neither of them listened. Mason, the tall man, shoved the other one hard against the SUV. The sound of impact made me flinch. Gasps filled the lot as people started pulling out their phones. I stood frozen, torn between fear and the strange pull to know what had led to this. The lean man, whose name I soon learned was Caleb, pushed back, his fist connecting with Mason's jaw in a sickening crack. The fight erupted, wild punches, bodies slamming against cars, metal denting under the force. The woman screamed, begging them to stop, but it was like they were deaf to the world. I wanted to leave, but something made me stay. My heart pounded as I clutched my grocery bags, whispering, "This is insane." But deep inside, I knew there was a story here, a story unraveling right in front of me. Within minutes, the parking lot was chaos. People yelling, phones recording, car alarms blaring as fists flew. Mason pinned Caleb against the hood of the SUV, snarling, "You ruined everything!" Caleb spat blood, shouting back, "I gave her what you couldn't, freedom." The woman, her name I later learned was Leela, screamed louder than ever, her voice breaking. "Stop it, both of you! You're going to kill each other!" Her words sliced through the madness, but for a brief moment, only silence followed. The kind of silence that comes before a storm's final strike. Mason's eyes burned with fury, Caleb's with stubborn pride, and Leela's with unbearable heartbreak. I realized then, this wasn't just a fight. This was years of secrets, betrayal, and love exploding in the most public way possible. Suddenly, Caleb pulled something from his pocket. Not a weapon, but a folded piece of paper. He threw it at Mason, shouting, "Read it. Maybe then you'll understand why she left you." The paper fluttered to the ground, caught in the wind, before Mason grabbed it. His hands shook as his eyes scanned the words, his breathing heavy. I couldn't see what it said, but whatever was written changed his entire face. His anger melted into something else: pain, confusion, betrayal. Leela cried out, "I didn't want you to find out like this." Her voice broke, and suddenly the truth hung heavy in the air. Mason dropped the paper, his fists unclenching, his shoulders slumping like the fight had been drained out of him. Caleb stood there breathing heavily, his face bruised but his eyes steady. Leela stood between them, broken, caught between two worlds that had collided violently in a parking lot. And me? I stood there, my groceries forgotten, my heart racing, realizing I just witnessed a piece of someone's life unravel in the most rawest way possible. The police sirens wailed in the distance, flashing lights approaching fast. People scattered, some still recording, others whispering about what they'd just seen. Mason stepped back, his face pale, his voice barely audible. "I can't do this anymore." And with that, he walked away, leaving Leela sobbing in the middle of the lot. Caleb bent down, picked up the paper, and handed it back to her gently, whispering, "It's over now." But was it? The look in Leela's eyes said otherwise. I left that night with my heart still pounding, the image of fists, tears, and that crumpled piece of paper burned into my mind. I didn't know their full story, but I knew one thing. Sometimes the ugliest fights don't happen in arenas or rings. They happen in the most unexpected places, fueled by love, betrayal, and the pain of being human. And that night, in the middle of a grocery store parking lot in Dallas, Texas, I learned just how fragile love could be and how fast it could turn into war.